because it's hard for them to activate because of my knights. And I have more space, right? Like I can actually improve my queen, but how do you like really improve this queen? I mean, you can put her on c7, sort of the maximum, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So I think queen b3 looks nice because it lets out the rook, maybe rook c1. Yeah, and then a5 is going to come. And that, you know, and I guess the other advantage is that your pawns are harder to move them, while my pawns are actually very easy to move. So the advantage is coming from the pawn structure and also from the beautiful outpost on c6.
Right. I think those two moves are equally pleasant for white. You just want to keep attacking, and then you have significant advantage in the queen's side, and this is where you are going to play.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think she's got good chances again. But again, the issue is the time, right? 5.5 minutes to 14 minutes, 10-second increment. I mean, will she be able to handle it? I mean, I don't know. Her play has been really good, right? And she's got basically a winning position, right? But, you know, will she have the technique, you know, when it gets down to little time?
Yep. So wow, it is looking really great for Salimova right now. Yep. Alexandra Gorchikina is once again under pressure. Queen f3.
Okay.
She chose queen f3.
Yeah, that's also quite decent. I don't see like a huge difference. I mean, I guess maybe the queen on b3 I liked more because it was a bit more supportive of the queen side play. You know, obviously in these positions, you're always looking at that sort of sacrifice in the fork, but it doesn't actually win yet. So, you know, there's no reason to do it. It's just basically a trade of queens. But of course, black has to always be looking at the e7 square in these lines. And yeah, I mean, to me, this move, maybe she also doesn't want this rook to move. Maybe there's g4 ideas. But I guess there's still bishop g6, yeah?
Yeah, I think that queen on f3 is looking more solid because it's also keeping an eye on any trade on f2, for example. And also there's another addition idea. You might want to play h4 and follow up with g4, h5, you know? I think I like this move.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's perfectly fine. Queen f3, queen b3. I mean, she's on the right track. I think rook c1 will happen next. You start making very specific threats. Maybe at some point there'll be h3, just for make sure there's no back rank issues. But it's looking pretty good. And let's take a look at Prag's move. He played the move bishop d7, which we hadn't considered. It protects the pawn, but it doesn't really do anything to get this knight into the game.
Yep. Well, it's just attacking b5 at the point, but now it's a question how to deal with this threat on b5. Do you protect it or you just push the pawn? But if you push the pawn, then Fabiano simply just ignored it.
Yeah, that's actually, I think, the engine's favorite move. It's the counterattack on this bishop.
Yeah, this is such a nice move too.
Yes. So now there's no time to take the pawn. So what do you do with this bishop?
Out
you can't
for a while,
go there because I think we also
such a big power move now.
Might be taking on c4.
Bishop b4, if it was white's move, you can't capture it with the knight.
So definitely it's
if
a bit
you don't
awkward,
capture it
right?
with the knight because there's a fork on e7,
By
you
the
have to move the
way-
rook somewhere. The rook moves, knight d6 jumps in, winning the piece, winning an exchange.
Yeah, bishop b4 is another problem that black has to deal with here. So I think you must cover this square. I think you must stop the idea of the white bishop moving in here. So let's also get our queen out of the way of a fork and play a move like queen c7 maybe. The problem with queen c7, maybe my bishop can't retreat this way. And,
I like queen d7 maybe more.
Yes, that looks a bit more harmonious as the bishop can drop back, right? And this does seem to stop the threats for now. This is a much better square for the queen. The rook also has a bit more leg room on the back rank. White must be better because of this knight and also the other knight and the queenside majority. At any moment, white can push a5 and just try to get some initiative going over there. But has she played it?
Bishop c5 on the board, so still
played bishop
controlling the
c5.
diagonal and also the d6 square. But this invites the other idea that we've been talking about. Get that rook on c1, line it up with the bishop and queen, creating more potential tactics and threats in the position. And it's not about falling apart in one move or blundering, but this constant pressure and incremental pressure is what wins games at this level.
Yeah, 100% agree, Tanya. And it's really difficult to play these positions when you're defending every move. And this is the problem that Alexandra's in. She's got to, I think, now keep up her tempo. What a move. What a move, Tanya. I would not play that move. I would have played your rook c1 move immediately because it just improves the piece. But I think this could be a killer. It could be a killer move because it's breaking down, I feel, this knight and even the bishop, allowing the white knights access to both of these two squares. This is a fantastic move. If black takes it, the white pawn also becomes mobile, and it could be a killer. I mean, let's have a look, Tanya. Let's say you go knight takes e3, maybe the most logical move here. Well, I do have a choice. Pawn takes, maybe also knight takes is not ridiculous in this position. Because I'm threatening then to take your bishop, and I'm threatening rook c1. Maybe that's the move. Rook c1 and knight e7. And even though you've got the two bishops, the white knights dominate them. And I think this idea of rook c1 is horrible, right? And also I'm threatening knight takes f5 and queen d5 check, winning a piece. So, you know, yeah, sorry, Tanya, have you got any way you can try to wriggle out of this one? Doesn't look easy.
I'm just so impressed with bishop e3 and the speed with which it was played. Rook c1 just felt like such a natural sort of a human move with 4 minutes on the clock. But understanding that that bishop on c5 and the knight on d5 are the two key defenders in black's position, and you're kind of forcing a trade-off of one of them. With this move, bishop e3, not only forcing a trade-off, you're potentially getting another piece into the attack, and that piece might be the f2 pawn. For example, if black was to trade with the bishop, I think you're totally right. F takes e3 loses on the spot. It just feels like way too many threats. e4 is coming in, or maybe it's not the most accurate trade I see, but this would be super scary to face. Knight d6 coming in, e4 coming in, a7 pawn hanging. You're bringing all your forces into the game. On the other hand, if you take with the knight on e3, which I think might be the only way that Goryachkina keeps the game going, I'll be surprised if I see knight e3 is super strong.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's actually, the more I look at this, I was thinking always pawn takes, but then I was thinking, hang on a minute, this knight taken in both those situations, Tanya, it is actually tactically becoming quite clear that it's actually just going to end the game. For example, bishop takes e3, we go knight takes e3, the black knight overloaded. You can't take on e3 because there's always this big check crushing the game. So we're sticking with this game.
Out. Simon, if you go queen d7 after bishop e3, knight e3, trying to sidestep with the checks, it really doesn't help because white just continues going knight d5, e d5, queen takes f5. You sacrifice your queen.
And you know what, Tanya? You have two beautiful ways of doing this. Let's show this one. You have knight takes d5. Tanya points out this beautiful tactic. Pawn takes. Is black defending? No. Kaplonk. That's a kaplonka. And after queen takes, the knight, which is the killer, the master destroyer, comes to e7 and checks. But also, if you want to mix that tactic around, you can take on f5. And after pawn takes, double kaplonk. You can do it this way around.
With a check.
And a check is nice. And that is another big check. So bishop e3, what a move. We have a move on the board. Knight takes e3.
Very nice, because bishop e3 would have lost on the spot, as we saw. Knight takes e3, she finds it, and then immediately Salimova recaptures with the knight. Another great capture, and Goryachkina just sidesteps any forking ideas on e7, goes with the king to h8. And I see that Ivalbar still, of course, says that white is close to winning, but I like king h8 because you don't immediately lose to anything. I would still be tempted to make a move like rook c1, get that rook into the game. Rook c1 or rook d1 are ideas that come to my mind. But Salimova continues to play direct chess, trades on f5, but she's got to get that rook into the game.
Yeah, and also the queen might better slide in as well, you know, because the knight and queen dominating really well. Look at the bishop, Tanya. The more we look at the bishop, we can see it's just not stable. It can't really go anywhere. If it goes to b6, a5, where can that bishop go? And the queen just dives in immediately.
She does it.
Unbelievable play. And this bishop, is it? I mean, like, let's say you go here, for example.
A5.
I go A5. You go to this square. Maybe now I can just be greedy and just take there and go B6. Is it as simple as this? B6 next and you resign. Could well be. And I think Salimova is playing a fantastic game so far. This just looks just absolutely game.
You can get bishop takes h2, king takes h2, and your own tactics in, but it's not going to help. I think that position is absolutely lost because of the A and the B pawn.
Rook c1 and knight e7 being really annoying, so she just goes here, and actually she's quite lost here.
This is just an extra pawn for white. Yeah, I mean,
Salimova's play is really very good. It's very precise.
Well, bishop b6 is on the board, so it's inviting a5 actually.
Yeah, and then she's actually just going to lose the a7 pawn, and I think it's over. And Salimova still has plenty of time. She's got like over 3 minutes for this position just to play a5. Wow. Wait, hold on. I did predict that she was going to win today, right?
Yeah,
okay, I did that. Okay.
I was just predicting the other so that it can be more intense, you know?
Yes. So we have our little rivalry going on the predictions. All right. But yeah, I mean, first of all, her first game, I mean, it is going to be very convincing, I think. It's just that a5, and once you win the second pawn, it starts to get like a little overwhelming, doesn't it?
Yeah. Also, yeah, you can play f5. Also, you can also not hurry this by playing anything with the rook moves. Yeah, but I agree. f5 is a more direct attack, and it's clear. Like after f5, you just take on. But I think she's a bit worried of any takes on h2, which you shouldn't actually. You just take.
Yeah. So these are pawns. Okay, it's important that you got the tempo. You're about to play b6. I mean, yeah, like on this move, I mean, it just you can take here and start promoting your pawns.
Yeah, I mean, queen b8. Maybe she was a bit worried about it, or any takes off h2. But I agree, a5 is just dominating. Knight a7 now, and white is just winning.
That's crazy for Goryachkina to just get like completely outplayed like this.
Wow.
Right? Because I mean, this game was just like one way from the beginning.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. So Salimova has been dominating the game since the beginning. And no, I really like how she found the move b3. You know,
yeah, b3 was very nice,
right? It shows a very good position understanding. And knight takes a7 is already on the board. Bulgaria might be seeing their new women's world champion.
World Cup winner.
Champion.
Yeah. You know what's funny is that yesterday on Facebook, I was reading something where like someone was already like, we've got a new World Cup winner in your Salimova, and I was like, and people were confused because it's like the tournament's not over.
Yeah, it's still
right. But there was actually a post like that, and I was like, maybe that's symbolic. Maybe that's predicting the future. You know,
they're cheering for her for sure. Yes.
Yeah.
But well,
queen b8 on the board.
So b6, yeah, you can just give this pawn up h2. Yeah, b6, bishop h2, king h1. That's it. And then you can just keep pushing the pawn, put the rook on c1, for example.
Yeah, it's still a little tricky. I mean, I feel like if you're going to lose this pawn, you are just going to need to be a little bit careful.
Knight c6 maybe is a better way.
Knight c6. I mean, it's nice to get the tempo. Yeah, nice to get the tempo. Bishop h2, king h1, queen f4 is the only move.
Yeah, still got to be careful. Queen f4, and after maybe just queen d4. Oh, queen d4, queen h6.
Yeah, now if you go g3, there's bishop takes g3. So, yeah, queen d4, there's queen h6. So she actually needs to spend a little time right now finding the best move. I wonder if queen f3 just does the job.
Yep.
Or there's queen c4. But then I can just move my rook. Actually, I feel like this move might be the most human.
Just to clarify everything.
Yeah, I think so. Like, this might be just my choice.
And after queen c4...
Queen c4, I was just going to move this rook somewhere.
You have to protect b5.
No, because your bishop is still hanging, so I can just sort of go anywhere, right?
I think you still have to, because after bishop d6,
bishop,
and then queen h4 is there, so...
Yeah. I mean, it's still like, well, a little tricky, yeah? But somehow you feel like it should be winning. All right, she went queen f3. She went with my bad human move. Like, it's not as good as the other options, but it is like...
It is very human, yeah.
Yeah, very.
and also with only 1.5 minutes on the clock, it's normal to play such a move. I think I would also play this move.
Yeah. Because you're just so tempted, by the idea of being able to block the checks on h3. So makes sense. And of course, black cannot trade the queens because white's double pawns don't matter here. So black has to keep the queens on the board. So the question is queen c4 or queen h4? Which way is her queen going?
Queen h4.
Okay.
Okay, after queen h4, queen h3 has to be played.
It does, because there's a checkmate threat on the board with bishop g3.
So after queen h3, this queen on h4 will move somewhere else, to c4.
Yeah, and then they go here. And then it's a little annoying. Because then she can maybe take on b5. So maybe she has to go rook b1.
Also, you can take on h2, king takes h2. I like this idea.
King h2?
Yeah.
Oh, me, I don't know. I'm scared. I'm scared to give up the rook. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if my pawns will promote. They're still so far away.
Right. Well, this is unnecessary, of course. Yeah, you just have to move the rook now.
Rook b1 seems okay. Now, and then, well, you might want to take the pawn if you get a chance. If they attack the rook, then they're, they can't attack it from there. If they attack it from queen c2, maybe you just have queen b3. Yeah, and then the bishop is hanging, and so is the queen.
Oh, she took my bad move.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I'm so sorry. This is not the best move.
Okay, so she thought it was the safest, but rook b1 was the way bigger advantage. Whoa, and she's under a minute. Anything can happen now. Because queen takes f1. Well, I don't know what Goryachkina is thinking about. She's got to take the rook. She just lost the bishop. So
maybe she's
thinking about queen here or something?
No, I don't think so.
She's just kind of shocked.
Yeah. So queen takes f1 and then queen takes f5.
F5 probably is the point. But now it's like, she's really thinking those pawns are going to queen, but who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
Like queen back to c4. I guess you're going to play a6. Of course, it looks nice. It does still look nice for white. You just never know, right? There's rook e8, checks, humming. Like, what's going on in this position?
g3, yeah.
G3, you got to, solidify your king.
Yeah.
Okay. It's still easier, I guess, for white to play.
Yep.
But actually, I'm going to be honest, with the amount of time that she has and the complexity on the board, I have no idea what's going to happen anymore.
No, this is not totally clear right now, but white still has some advantage, and with those two pawns on the side of the board, it's clearly showing that Salimova thinks that this is way better position.
Maybe even g3 right now.
G3 right away, yeah.
Because I'm thinking, if we go a6, isn't there queen h4 as well? A little bit annoying. If queen h3, first of all, there's that pawn.
Just king there.
Yeah, and I was afraid of rook
You were
e8.
afraid, yeah.
Okay, but this is hard to find.
No.
Queen b1.
Yeah, you don't want to play such a move, yeah.
Because you have to be sure there's nothing happening on this square. The computer says it's completely winning. But it's starting to really get tricky for her. I'm telling you, I wouldn't be shocked if she played g3 here. It's another very human move.
And Nurgül, you have to play faster.
All right, she went a6.
Okay, a6.
A6.
Oh my gosh.
Now Goryachkina has big choices to make. She really should probably take some time here. But no, she goes for g6. It's actually a good move.
Wow.
A very good move, trying to get access to f4, trying to keep the queen from blocking. Also, this pawn. Where does she even go? She has to go to b1 just to save the pawn. Oh,
yes.
Wow. That's the point of g6, is that this pawn is going to hang.
Queen
d7. What about queen takes b5?
This is crazy. This is starting to get really crazy. So Salimova is doing it again. Yesterday,
A7,
she was almost winning.
Yeah.
And now this is a totally winning position for her. And I think she's trying to do some self-destroy.
Well, first of all, there's already, I think, perpetual on the board. Maybe with queen f4 or queen c1, there might be just perpetual check.
It looks like it.
Because you have to go to h3.
But then queen h6.
Yeah, who knows, or g5 or something.
And made in...
Right, so there's two moves
coming.
for Goryachkina. She can go for this, or she can try to go for queen b5 and keep the game going, actually, Like a7. White is probably still doing fine, given how strong this pawn is.
Yes, and with 14 seconds left on the clock, it's going to be a very hard decision to make for Salimova.
Yeah. Goryachkina might want to take advantage of this time situation, because a queen f4, that's fine. But if she feels like her opponent has 14 seconds, maybe try, gamble, queen b5.
Yeah. Yep.
Super exciting, yeah?
It's super exciting. But also I feel a bit kind of sad, because Please. Yesterday she also blew her chance.
Yeah, it would be too sad.
It
to
would be too
lose
sad,
that
no.
really good game that she played. But yeah, her idea of giving up the rook was a little risky. But okay, and the time, the time just matters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If she wants to give the rook, I think by playing rook b1 first and then decides to give a rook, I think it would have been better. Like, for example,
Yeah.
There's no check coming because the
Yeah.
queen is not so close to the king. And yeah, in this position, Goryachkina has this perpetual idea, but also if she wants to keep pushing and play for a win, right? Queen takes b5 is another idea
Yeah,
as well.
so let's take a look at that, actually. So queen b5, I mean, I have various moves here, but I mean, a7 makes the most sense to me. And then what do you do?
Do you have a perpetual? No, this
You don't
queen
actually,
h5.
yeah, you don't
king
actually
g1.
have queen d1 because my queen covers that. So what's my threat? Let me just think about what is white even threatening here. I mean, do I want to just go knight b8 and try to promote my pawn?
I don't think you can do that.
Or maybe
yeah?
knight
Queen-
d8? I mean, it's interesting. Right? I mean, what do you do as black? You still have to make a move, right? And the rook is not like getting normal squares, so she can only go to a8. So it's not clear that this is so difficult for white. It's also not easy for Goryachkina to go for this line because she's basically playing without the rook. So she avoided the perpetual, and now she's sort of like looking for the perpetual.
Okay, let me play, for example, queen.
C5, or where would you like to go?
Oh my gosh, I
there's
don't
a lot of
know. I don't even
excitement on
know now.
both boards. The problem is that Salimova has 14 seconds, so it's really hard to leave her.
No,
board.
stay on this board. Stay on this board.
Yeah, this is the World Cup finale for
Yes,
the women,
exactly. This is the final in the Women's World Cup, and whoever wins, she will get the title.
Yeah.
Wow, what an excitement! And Goryachkina has spent more than 3 minutes for this move, so this is a big decision to make whether she's gonna go just for the perpetual checks or she's gonna go for win.
She's going for the perpetual.
She's gonna go for the
Oh,
perpetual.
wow. So she wants to give us a chance to see the Caruana Prague game. Yeah, this game is going to end in a draw, which in a way I think is it's a more fair result than Goryachkina winning.
Yep. So we'll come back to Fabiano's game after this one because looking at the time situation, Salimova has to play faster now.
Yeah, well, she's
Only
just going to go
30
king
seconds
g1.
left on the clock.
She's not going to gamble with king h3. King h3 is just insane. Just don't even do it.
Yep,
Yeah.
I don't think so as well.
I mean, there's still perpetual, but there's just no point. Okay.
Oh, and they agreed for a draw.
Nice.
What a game! What a game!
All right, we're now on Caruana versus Prague. Let's see what's going on in the end game here. Does white have some kind of an advantage?